Thanks guys, hello and welcome to another Squadron 42 update. The weapon system has been receiving an overhaul and right now a lot of attention is being put on recoil. Weapon feel is of course incredibly important in any FPS experience, and Squadron 42 features a lot of on-foot shooting sequences where this new recoil will be seen a lot. So a ton of work goes into a seemingly small part of the overall package that a lot of everyday players may even take for granted. This started out as an animation in Maya, focusing on the Bearing P8 assault rifle as a starting point for the visual goal for animation. The variations and randomness are added to each shot, the amount the weapon kicks back, the horizontal and vertical movements of the weapon. This new system allows us to define a base recoil for each weapon, but the player affects it depending on their position, their state and other stats. As you can see, a lot more customization goes into this than you might think. Ship AI continues to come along, with recent focus being put on smoothing out takeoffs and landings on the Idris, creating some canned flight formations to make designers' lives a little bit easier. A lot of progress has been made in this last area as we determine just how AI prioritizes targets based on threat level, chance and personal character bias. The ship AI teams also continue to iterate on fighter and gunship behavior with constant feedback from QA, along with a lot of back-end improvements helping us steadily improve ship combat in general. Also in the works is Odin's system spacescaping. Part of our recent focus on S42 development has been working on our space scene overworld, or as we call it within the project, our spacescape. Through development on the coil, the engineers have been busy building the amazing gas cloud tech, but it isn't just confined to the mysterious coil. It's also been used throughout the campaign to create nebula and other pockets of interest in space. We can use this as a tool to drive the narrative forward in particular areas, build areas in space much like a conventional interior level. Controlling color, density and the style of simulation could add a huge amount of potential variety to the spacescape. From angry, aggressive simulations like the coil to softer, more serene bodies of gas just floating in space. This gives both art and design a great amount of scope to make our space scenes look amazing and convey a message or mood to the player. From a design standpoint, we aim to strike a balance between plausibility, reality and cool looking visuals. This tech, once perfected here in Squadron 42, will also be applied to various systems in Star Citizen's PU. The prop team continues to turn out control room sets for Chemline, with even more computers, screens and other monitoring gauges filling out the pieces. To really sell the abandoned vibe, we have done a damage pass creating damaged variants of each asset, adding flexibility and reuse to the set. Work has started on scrap piles for an upcoming location. We can't go into too many details, but we are in early days on building out the texture set and geometry. Visual targets are now being built up on Chemline along with several other S42 locations, with full concept art support to provide direction for the art and design team. Ship emergency and distress states are being iterated on and polished, with critically damaged ships still in space environments now looking suitably beaten up. This is separate to the fully destroyed versions that have previously been seen crashed on planets. Work continues on the Bengal carrier as well, with new locations being built out in near final states. These include a brig that, although visually different as you would expect from a different manufacturer, still echoes the functionality of the Idris. Because, at the end of the day, a brig is a brig. The animation team have been working towards getting variations into the NPC combat sets. Alongside the trained mercenary sets, we have been developing out the visual language for the untrained NPCs. The trained combatants will be confident in their actions, decisive, and a much more difficult archetype to kill. The untrained sets will be more skittish and wild in their actions. With this in mind, we've been paying particular focus to how the different groups interact with the cover objects. As an example of this, the trained military sets will switch hands when entering the left side of cover, whereas untrained NPCs will remain right-handed. This allows the trained set to be more concealed when stepping out and firing versus the more wild and disciplined untrained set. There are also stark differences in the firing stances that the trained military will take versus their civilian counterparts. Details like these are what we aim to deliver to give a fully fleshed out variety and believability to both friendly and enemy AI sets for Squadron 42 and Star Citizen. We're currently still in an implementation stage as we continue to expand the AI combat behaviors. As we lock down all the technical details more, we'll take another animation pass to really tighten up the visuals on all the combat assets. The character art team are creating additional hero costumes for our major characters such as Graves, played by John Rhys-Davies. A lot of effort goes into the styling of S42's characters to infer their personality and history. Graves' jackets from his old days when he was part of the 118th Squadron, button-up shirt, work pants and heavy boots, paint the picture of a professional manager of security who works on a rugged mining base. And our artists have even added an extra little weight to this once trim Navy pilot. I know that feeling. To emphasise his advancing years. So that's it for this month. We'll see you in June for another S42 update. Now back to you in the studio.